Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for stopping by and joining us for episode 44 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and be sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the show. A huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Matias and Chow. Thank you so much for your generous support. Additionally, shout out to our other Heron Heads, Art, Brian, Kevin, James, and Karen. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you feel so inclined to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. And if you don't feel so inclined, that's totally okay too. We appreciate you being here. All right, guys, so the last dance is upon us. Thursday, Inter Miami take on Al Nassr and maybe Ronaldo? Maybe? So we're going to dive into a match preview of that, and we'll also touch on some of the news that's been coming out around the club over the past week or so. So how are you guys feeling heading into yet another preseason match against maybe an easier team?
Definitely. I wouldn't say it's. I mean, it is an easier team. Al Hilal's the top of the table, but I definitely feel better seeing as we've had that progression that we wanted to see from match to match. So heading into this match, I expect more of the same on offense, if not a little bit better. I want to see if we'll get Freire some playing time in this one, because that would be great, because that's kind of what we're counting on to be the linchpin of this defense at this point. So that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing if we get Freire in, and maybe if he's not in there, maybe we'll see maybe McVay starting in over Noah Allen or something. I just need to see something different in the back line, because what we've been seeing is not going to cut it. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I think it's time to see Freire. He's been with the club for, a week now? So I think it's time to see him already. We need a change back there. We've seen the defense start off horribly. They did okay the second half, but we need, I agree, we need a change of pace back there. We need something different. No Allen isn't it. But yeah, I'm ready to see more of that attack. Seems like every match we've just seen a little bit something more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm ready to see it, a full match of that, not just a piece of the second half or anything like that. I want to see from start to finish. I want to see them start just hot, They seem to have that chemistry really building up. This is going to be the fourth game already. So, if they're already getting comfortable with each other, I want to see Gressel really start meshing with these guys. Last game, he looked very, very, very poor. I think it's time for him to take the next step. If not, then I'm not going to be worried, but I know there's still a couple more friendlies left, but I want to see Gressel really involved. There was a lot of hype around him, the versatility around him. Are we going to keep him in center mid? Or are we going to put him out in the wing? So it's weird. It seemed like he did very well 2 games ago. In the last game, he took a step back at center mid. So we'll see what Tata does with that. So I just want to keep the progression going. Win or lose, obviously we want to win, especially if Ronaldo plays. But win or lose, it doesn't matter. All these comments everywhere, everyone keeps freaking out about losing all of these games. It's a friendly. It doesn't matter. Preseason doesn't matter. What we want to see is progression. We want to see all these little kinks worked out. We want to see the scheme just ready to go, ready to take on Real Salt Lake in game 1. And we just want to see progression. Win or lose, it really doesn't matter. Stop blowing out of proportion, people.
Yeah, Julio, I'm really nervous about our defensive line. That's exactly what I want to talk about today, and I'm super upbeat about our mid. That's what it's all about in this game. No, that's not what I want to talk about, and that's not what this game's about. This game's about Ronaldo, Messi, book it. That's it. That's what it matters. Now, if he doesn't play, I'm going to be extremely sad. It's a game where everyone knows the history. Everyone knows the spiciness leading up to this game with the awards Messi won and Ronaldo talking crap about it. That's what people are going to watch. That's why people wear Ronaldo's jerseys. That's why people wear Messi jerseys. That's why the headline on this podcast for this episode is Messi versus Ronaldo, the last dance. That's it. That's what people want to see, and I am so excited about it. When you're talking about the entrance fee for these games, it's $800 plus. People aren't paying scraps to see these two, so I'm really hoping that they get what they want, what we all want, right? Um, Messi leads this whole thing with Ronaldo 22 goals to 21. He's won 16 wins versus 11 losses to Ronaldo, 9 draws. I mean, he's dominated as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, I wear the shirt just for fun. But it's not going to be fun when it got on. I don't think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to whoop some serious butt, and I'm excited to watch it.
So for those of you listening and not watching on YouTube, Jose's wearing a Ronaldo shirt. Just to clarify, do you think he plays?
The thing is, what worries me is that he literally they just canceled the China tour because he wasn't going to play. So that tells me, it's a kind of a lean towards like he probably won't. But at the same time, he's been seeing training with the team a lot, this week, and they keep posting him on Twitter. I don't know. In soccer, it's a little bit different compared to like what we're used to in America, because it's like there's an injury report. There's a kind of a quorum to it where, hey, he's probably not going to play. Where we experienced it last year with Inter Miami, where they wouldn't say anything until like an hour before the match, and so it's like I don't. Who knows? As of right now, as us right now doing this podcast, it's still in the air, and there's a possibility he plays, and there's a possibility he doesn't.
Yes or no, Jose? Do you think he plays or not?
I think if he's got the guts, he plays. That's what it's about. I
Yes
think
or no? Does he have the guts? Do you think he has the guts?
No, I don't think he's got the guts. That's the question. You asked and answered, sir. Now what? What do we do with that?
Is he scared of Messi? Yes or no?
Why am I
answer the question, Jose?
Interrogated. Does he? What's your question now, Chris? I'm getting warm.
Is he scared of Messi? Yes or no?
I don't think he is. I think I every time he talks, it seems like Messi lives in his head. So I don't think he is. But I do think that he kind of, he has a chip on his shoulder with him for sure. I feel like he's always getting overlooked by him. They always. I always feel like the way that Ronaldo trains versus the way that Messi trained, that's always been something where Ronaldo's been a stickler for his training. He's always been a stickler for his physique compared to, you look at Messi. He's like us now as fans of Messi, we have his back, right? And we know that he's not built the same as Ronaldo, but I've always felt like Ronaldo kind of takes it a little more personal. That, how is this guy with this little 5'4" guy? How do you compare it to me? Look at me.
Did you see Messi's gym pics? Like, this guy, he's looking svelte. He's taking shirtless pics with Antonella next to him, and he's got his little 6-pack going. And
I'm telling you what the feeling is out there, Ronaldo fans versus Messi fans, where you got this figure, this beautiful person, Ronaldo. You see Messi, he's small. He's not really supposed to be compared to this guy, right? And then all of a sudden, he scores more goals and he wins more. I don't know what to tell you. Let's figure it out.
All right, we'll take the burner off of you, Jose, for a few minutes.
Keep it up, baby.
I personally think he does play, and I think to some extent that the cancellation of the China matches was so he can rest and recover and be ready to go in some capacity for this match. I don't think, to me, this is an opportunity for Ronaldo to like stamp this is why I came to the Saudi League. We're better than the MLS. Like, it's bigger than just a I'm better than Messi statement that he can be making. It's I chose the correct league. You chose the wrong place to go. Like, it's bigger than just the personal battle.
And he said it multiple times about the MLS.
Yeah.
It's not comparable.
And I'm sure he feels vindicated too for when he left for the Saudi League and Messi left for the MLS. Like, the majority of the talent that did leave Europe went to Saudi. Granted, I understand there was a lot more money being thrown that way, but he feels like he's the baton holder for that movement. So that has to feel good for him. So then hearing that Messi still made the right move going to the MLS, and then seeing Messi win the Ballon d'Or as a member of the MLS, that just smarts. So he wants to stick it to Messi. And you know that the entire Saudi League wants to as well. That's probably a big reason they have this tournament. It's kind of just to be like a proving point to the
Very
whole world.
fun, very fun
Yeah,
tournament.
which is great for the fans. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with it. I do expect Ronaldo to play. Like Julio said, I agree that I don't think he's going to play the whole match. I'm curious whether he starts the match or if he comes in as like a closer, or if there's a penalty gets earned or something. Everybody always rags on Ronaldo for all the penalty shots that account for all his goals. If that's what, it's pretty funny because that's how Messi scored last match, but it's neither here nor there. Let's see when he comes on and to what capacity he is on that pitch.
The thing is, for me, it's one of those things where a few years ago, and again, that episode that wasn't played is one of those things where I don't know if I said this or not, the story, but when I went out to see this exact matchup when it was in Miami 6 years ago, it was in 2017. It was a friendly as well. It was a clásico. That's what it was dubbed at, and it was supposed to be the Barca boys versus Real Madrid, and that was like incredible. They even had Mark Anthony playing in the halftime show. I mean, it was a big event, and it was a night game, and everybody was hyped for the game. And it got to a point where, like, Ronaldo was hurt again. You know, he was hurt, and it's funny. It's a guy that's never hurt, but he was hurt again in the same capacity. In as far as Miami fans, it just happens all the time. I don't know what to tell you, but it sucked because our owner at the time, the one that was hosting the event, Stephen Ross, he was willing to send a private jet to Madrid to pick him up and bring him so that he could play in the game. He declined. So that right there told me, I was like, oh, this guy's got no guts. I don't know what to tell you. He just doesn't want to play. Let's do this. If it's not for a trophy, he doesn't want to play.
Chris, do you
Kind
think
of
he
is for a
plays?
trophy this time.
Chris, do you
Yeah,
think he
like-
plays?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. I was talking and I didn't hear that. I think so because Jose kind of mentioned it already, and I read it a little while ago that he has been kind of training already. He should be. Oh boy, the Messi jersey's out. For those of you not watching, Jose just took off his shirt and he had a Messi jersey right under.
Couldn't do it.
Messi Argentina jersey at that.
Couldn't do it.
But yeah, I did read he was starting to train. He should be ready to be back with the team tomorrow, and get ready for the matchup. So I really do think he plays. I don't think we'll miss seeing him from what I've seen recently.
So what remains to be seen will be a couple other players that are on international duty right now. So you have Sadio Mane and Seko Fofana, who are both in AFCON. Fofana will probably not be at this match because Ivory Coast is still in the AFCON tournament, and they eliminated Senegal. So there's a chance Sadio Mane plays. Their last game was yesterday, which would give them 3 days to get back and play. It wouldn't be a stretch. It's not the craziest turnaround, but who knows? It's a friendly, so maybe they'll just rest him and not push it too much. He's one of their superstars as well, so it'll be interesting. I think they're not as deep as Al Hilal, even though Al Hilal was also missing Koulibaly and Bono. It'll be
And Neymar.
and well, yeah, goes without saying. I think it'll be a slightly better matchup for us. Their midfield isn't as solid as Al Hilal's, in my opinion. Their defense isn't as organized. We were talking before the show about how Al Hilal had only allowed 9 goals in their season, and we scored 3 against them. So a very well-organized team. For comparison, Al Nassr has allowed 23 goals in the season. So I do think, given the progression of the chemistry between our players, given sort of the momentum we've been trending in, I do expect us to put up a really good performance.
To score 12 goals, right?
That's right. That's right.
I
That's
mean,
good math.
the way that the math works, if Al
100%.
Hilal only allowed 9 and we scored 3, these guys have allowed what 20, 21, 23 goals. So
And if
math,
you do by multiples, like we didn't score, we scored 0-0, and then we scored all of a sudden 3. So now all of a sudden, I'm assuming either we score 3, we're probably gonna score 3 again if that's the case, or 6. You never know.
Fantastic, as always.
I mean, I'm hoping for the first time since we've been doing this podcast that we have one hat trick. I would love a hat trick. Wouldn't that be amazing? Like this is the game Messi gets a hat trick in.
Yeah,
Imagine?
it could not happen in a better situation for just the enjoyment from all of the Inter Miami fans and Messi fans around the world. It would just be like the greatest. It would just be the ultimate. There's nothing better than like this personal rivalry to do something like that and to like reach just like the pinnacle of personal achievement in a match. To just put 3 past them would be,
yeah. Let's see a first half hat trick by Messi, and then he just sits the second half just because he's like, the damage is done, my friend.
David, he hasn't got a hat trick since we've had him.
I know, but he hasn't played Ronaldo since we've had him.
Oh, so now he has
the ultimate statement game.
As with the last 3 matches, and as Jose will absolutely love to dive into, it's going to come down to our defense whether we pull out the victory or not. Because I think our offense is really just on the verge of really unloading on someone. Like we sort of mentioned in our match reaction to the Al Hilal game, a couple of offsides were just inches off, and a couple of these passes are just inches off, and that's going to make the difference in some matches. But I think those movements and those passes are really getting close to being there. And yes, like Gressel, for example, had a down game, and that's to be expected, especially in preseason. But he's key to unlocking a lot of these defenses. And I think we might see some Gregory this match. And I look at him in a similar way. He can play some really good progressive balls up the pitch. Busquets, Alba, like all these guys are going to get really involved. Never an issue for them to get up for a match, but there's going to be some extra spice and juice to this one, I think.
And the thing with Gressel is that, like I was telling you guys after, and you guys said, you should just say it on the pod. Why are you telling us? It's one of those things that, like Gressel, I see him as a spark. He's got spunk, and it's one of those things that, like, we need a guy that's not just like going everywhere radical. Like I love Ruiz, but he doesn't necessarily have the veteran presence of like chill. Like let's get into an offense.
You're a liar. You don't love him.
Thank you, Chris. I do, but it's one of those things that he's not young. He's not a 19-year-old. He's he's been there, done that, and we need that kind of press, not just from Busquets, right? It's just another guy that's just pushing the ball of the pitch. What's wrong with him now is like, he has no chemistry with these guys, but everyone was just pooping on him the last game, and it's just one of those things that, from what I saw, I mean, he was just late on a lot of things. It doesn't mean that he didn't see it. Where I've always felt like a lot of our guys just don't see it. Like I when Joseph was playing with Messi, I never thought they had that they were ever going to reach that. You know what I mean? That level of just in sync. And I think Gressel can get there with this team. And that I've been noticing is just because they're a few seconds off, it doesn't mean they can't get on. They'll be fine.
Yeah, a lot of it was a timing issue. You could tell he was making the right runs, but his teammates weren't anticipating him making those runs, which is why he found himself in the offside position a lot, or in just a spot that he wasn't really supposed to be in with the way that they play. But this comes naturally with practice and with game time, so he's gonna stay out there. We would like to see him. I mean, we have the starting positions as a center mid, but they play once they start playing those are just positions on paper. They start playing on the wing and they drop back. So I'm not too worried about seeing him as a winger in the starting formation when he de facto plays winger in the in game. So, but yeah, I'm very excited for Gressel. I see the skill that we haven't had at that position. So that's something that that we can definitely utilize going forward. But yeah, like we've all been saying, it's just getting everyone on the same page. That's the whole purpose for this preseason tour. It's just getting these guys live action against live bullets, and so that when they do start the season, they're ready to hit the ground running, and they're gonna light it up.
So, question: we haven't really seen Gregory in the starting lineup, right? We haven't seen him since the preseason started, I don't think. Do you think after having a few good matches already, David Ruiz having a few good matches already, you think that maybe benches him today or on Thursday and starts Gregory in that position just to see how he looks with the rest of the starting lineup? Because he is an intriguing player. He has a skill set that no one else really has.
Did he start against El Salvador?
I can't remember now that first game.
I know he
might
played, but it's funny you bring that up because I was about to ask if you guys think that will tinker at all with the starting lineup for this match, because my suspicion is it's going to be very much the same as the Al Hilal match, and then once we go to China, he'll really rotate really heavily and start getting some of these bench players more playing time, or players that have featured on the bench more. And also some reserves, some more playing time. But I think he leaves the starting lineup pretty unchanged. I think if there's any possible areas of tinkering, it is David Ruiz's position, maybe Gressel, and then maybe Noah Allen. But I think Freire comes in as a substitute, not as a starter.
I would hate if they took David Ruiz off the starting group because he had such a great game this last match, and a player of that young age, you want to build the momentum. You want to build up his confidence, and I don't know if benching him after that type of game is the best for his psyche moving forward. Not that he's weak-minded or weak-willed or anything, but you want to build a guy up at this point. And I think that he had such a fantastic game last match that you want to see if he can maybe string together a few of these games so that he kind of becomes the hot hand, and again, put him into the season kicking on all cylinders. So I would be bummed if Ruiz doesn't start. I understand trying to get other guys involved, but maybe you don't play Busquets. You don't have to play Busquets every time. Like, these are guys that you could take down, but when you have a young player getting going, let's not put a damper on that little flame.
The only thing with Busquets is I don't know if someone has his natural ability on in our midfield. Like, the guy that looks down the field, just throws it to the front, like the
I
way he
agree.
does with such precision. I don't know if we have a guy like that. The only guy that not yet. I wouldn't even say Gomez anywhere near. Maybe Gressel can play that role in a way.
You can say
That's
that
not his
about
natural
all
position.
the Barcelona players. Is there's no perfect replacement for them, but the truth of the matter is that they can't play every single match.
Right.
So you do have to have guys who can play for them, and when you do have these guys playing in for them, you can adjust your game plan so that you're not just going to put Gregory and Busquets and say, okay, play exactly the way that Busquets plays. No. You have a different lineup for that, but you have to kind of adjust your game plan and work around that. But just because he can't play in the same manner that Busquets plays doesn't mean that you can't ever take
No,
Busquets out of
yeah.
the game.
I was just wondering if you guys thought anything different, because that's the way I felt that he's not very. Yeah, you could say the same thing about Alba, him. To certain, definitely Messi. Suarez, you kind of with Campana.
Campana's the only one who kind of has the same skill set. Granted, he's not the same status player that Suarez is, but the mold is the same type of player. But they're like, Noah Allen is the drop off for Jordi Alba. That I think that and Messi is the steepest drop off. The thing is, Messi is so high of a stratosphere that there's just nothing that replaces him. Even if you have an adequate replacement, it's still miles worse. But Alba is I think it's the equal drop off from Alba to Noah Allen than it is from Messi to the next best player. And it's just because the ceiling and the floor are so shifted differently in that situation. But yeah, everybody can't play every single game because that's how you have nobody left by the end of the season.
Yeah, the only
And
way. Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
go, you're good.
The only way I could see us like just taking out Busquets, for example, just changing the midfield in general and just doing a different style. Just okay, fine. He won't be the guy in the middle trying to push it up to the other guys. No, we'll just have a completely different style. Maybe do two more defended, two defensive minded players, or one like Gomez. I think can play the defensive style midfielder. He's not a bad CDM, and he's still offensive minded kind of, but he's very overall good. But he could play a little bit of Boosie's role.
He's not like listed as a travel player for this trip, is he?
No, I'm just.
I agree with you in general. I think throughout the season we'll see a variation in that way. Yeah, I don't know if there is there isn't a perfect replacement for Busquets, to Dave's point. And to me, Gregory has some of the elements of Busquets. Gressel has some of the elements of Busquets. And maybe it is like a change in system where you have a double pivot instead of just the single pivot with Busquets. Maybe you have Gregory and Gressel sitting back a little bit more, which I think would be really cool to see. I think that would be like such a good partnership in front of admittedly weak defensive line. And we use our wingbacks so far up, we really don't even use them as defenders. We use them as offensive players. So maybe switching to a double pivot with two players dropping deep, giving you sort of a de facto 5 in the back, could be interesting. I do think that Busquets if he plays all 90 in this coming match, he needs to just be rested almost for until we go back to the States, in my mind, because he's just gonna wear out. Like, we're just gonna wear the treads off those tires.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Maybe Thursday's not the right match to rest everyone. It's still friendly, but it's a big friendly. It's something that everyone wants to see.
It's the marquee of our
pride
preseason.
involved in it. Exactly. So you're not really going to want to rest and tinker. But look at the 3 games after that. We got the Hong Kong League 11, whatever, the all-star players, the Vissel Kobe, and then Newell's Old Boys. Newell's Old Boys is more of a nostalgia thing because of Messi, his home or his first team. None of those games these big guys really have to play. The only one there, Messi has to play the last one, obviously. But those other 3 games, you don't really have to play. Let's do this lineup one more time. Like David said, I think maybe Ruiz, you switch him out or whatever. Or one of you said maybe Ruiz, you switch him out. But let's keep the lineup. We got 3 games to really tinker, to really maybe change the formation, put someone somewhere else, let Alba rest, let Boosie rest. But Thursday's not the game to do it. Thursday's not the match to do it, especially if Ronaldo plays. Thursday's not the time to
run, right? Just let's see Noah Allen at left back. We love that.
We saw it all season
last year. We said it last season, to Dave's point, that the drop-off from Messi to Facu is not as big a drop-off from Alba to Allen. And everyone got so upset when we said that. But it's just because Allen's so bad, not that Messi's not so good. Like,
how
Messi
dare you, Julio?
So good.
How dare you say anything about Messi?
Am I wrong? Like, nothing we said in that statement was wrong. It's just hard to explain to people that the drop-off from Alba to Allen is so steep and so significant that even Messi being out and someone replacing him is not as bad a detriment to our team.
But Julio, Messi is the best in the world. Did you know that?
Yeah, and I fully agree with that statement. So now that that's been established, I want to kind of go back to what we used to do in our previews last season. I would love to get score predictions, maybe first score prediction time-wise. What are we feeling? Is Dave Stradamus is looking around. He's nowhere to be found.
You got me so off guard.
It's okay. It's preseason. We'll get into the regular season form, in a few weeks.
You got. Right. I mean, it was your idea to just surprise Julio. Just start stripping in front of him. See what he does. It was your idea.
Who would be the first time?
Right now, when he told me to take off my Ronaldo jersey, you're like, don't even tell him. See what happens.
I didn't think you were gonna do what you did. When I saw you had 2 shirts on, then I understood. But yeah. Anyway,
took it to the next level.
Anyway,
Yeah,
so
as
since
usual.
I sprung this on you guys, I'll go first. I do think Inter Miami get their first win of the preseason. I think it's all the pieces will come together and we'll start seeing some really, really good play between all of our offensive players. It's finally going to like gel as we have been seeing the elements of. And I think it's not as high scoring as the Al Hilal match, but I do think there are plenty of goals. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 victory for Inter Miami, with Messi scoring 2 and assisting Gressel for the 3rd. And Ronaldo scores 1.
That's solid. That's solid. Gressel had a lot of chances last match, so he probably does get his. I'm going to go with a little bit of a lower score. I'm going to go with a 2-1 Inter Miami win. Ronaldo plays. Ronaldo gets his goal. He has to get the goal, whether it's through a penalty or whatever. He's going to get his goal. Messi will get 2 assists. I don't think Messi will get a goal. Messi will get 2 assists just because Luis Suarez is still hungry. I think he took it very personal that he has not scored anything until the last match. And I think David Ruiz starts again and he gets another goal just to keep on that streak. And did you do a first goal prediction or no? Was that part of that?
No, but I can. I think the first goal is scored in the 28th minute.
I'll go with 34 minutes first goal.
I'll go with 15 minutes first goal, and I'll predict 4-2 Miami wins. I think it'll be Luis Suarez 2-goal outing, and Messi will get his, of course, and I don't think Ronaldo will play. That's my prediction.
No guts, Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo plays. I think the first goal is going to come real quick, like the last game. We're going to get a 4th-minute goal. And I think Miami just opens the floodgates and everything starts clicking. A 6-2 victory. No goals for Ronaldo.
I love it.
Because he's hurt.
It's preseason. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
That's right. That's right.
You're just fine-tuning the machine. That's all it is.
Yeah. Fine tune.
David's following the natural progression, and then the next game he's gonna say that we're gonna score 16, and then 32, and then we're just gonna keep going.
He predicted 42-0 last game that we would lose.
Book it.
I never said book it.
You thought it.
I did. I always do.
All right. So I mean, this is like I said, this is the marquee match of the preseason. Unfortunately, it's in the middle of the afternoon again, middle of the workday. I already know for a fact that I'm going to be in the middle of a meeting, so I'll have to catch just a recorded version of the game. I'm going to have to catch highlights, but hopefully everyone else will be able to enjoy it in some capacity live, and we will definitely be doing our live reaction similar to how we did on Monday, a few hours after the match, once we've had a chance to put the kids to bed, have some dinner, digest all the ongoings of the match. But we will be here. All the goals, right? All 6 of them. We will be here, and we will be breaking it down whether Ronaldo plays or not, and whether we win or not. We will be here, and we will continue to provide you with all the updates as they come. And from all of us here on the Heron Heads, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll catch you on the next one.
We'll be right back.